This is Cape Chronicle. I'm Jacob McClellan. Agriculture is king in much of southeast Missouri, and it's changing rapidly with new technological advances. What will southeast Missouri agriculture look like in the coming decades? Here to talk about agriculture and where it's heading is Dr. Michael Aide. He's the chair of Southeast Missouri State University's Agriculture Department. Dr. Aide, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you've described the Mid-South as the most sustainably productive agricultural region in the world, and Southeast Missouri is part of that, part of the Mid-South. Why is that? What makes this such a great place for agriculture?
The key component is we have this vast amount of underground, very pristine water that is used for irrigation. And so the Mid-South region is poised for a tremendous sustainable agricultural base because of the irrigation water that we have. The other thing is our geography. We're sitting here next to the Mississippi River. Barges take our grains and our other products down the Mississippi River to New Orleans. There they go to the Panama Canal. They're widening the Panama Canal just for American agriculture. They go across to the emerging Asian markets, and that is increasing the value of the products that we produce here in Missouri.
Now, of course, in southeast Missouri, soybeans, corn, wheat, these are all very important products here, but also biomass production is something that really seems to be a part, as I understand it, of the agriculture sector here in the future.
Well, let's look at solar energy. Out west is where solar energy is ideally suited because of the climate, the sunshine, and so forth. With those same studies, it has shown that the Mid-South, because of its abundant rainfall, long growing season, warm weather, is ideally suited to producing biomass. Now, what's biomass? It's a total amount of carbohydrate produced on a per acre basis on a sustainable basis. And we can use this for making fuel, supply chain for industry products, a myriad of other uses, and our region is ideally suited to produce total biomassic or cellulosic material.
I mean, really, if you on a really basic scale, it's almost like taking that solar energy, but filtering it through a plant before you make energy out of it.
Essentially, in agriculture, what we do is we take radiant energy, run through a plant, turn it into stored chemical energy. We call that starch, we call that protein. And we're just doing this with plants that may not have a food orientation in the end. They might have an alcohol production, or they may produce something like ethylene diol that can be polymerized into fibers, so that cornfield out in Missouri may be producing your carpet.
No, so we're not just talking specifically about ethanol or fuels. I mean, there's a whole gamut of products that can be produced from plants that are grown here in southeast Missouri.
Oh, absolutely. Soybeans. We have soybeans in virtually everything we eat, but soybeans can also be used in soy diesel, but they can be used in plasticizers, in helping make pharmaceuticals, a host of other plastics, many things. Not only is soybeans in your kitchen, it's in your basement, and it's in your garage, it's in the hardware stores. It is becoming the alternative to using petrochemicals to make virtually everything we use.
What does southeast Missouri need to really become that focal point, that center of the biomass production industry?
First of all, I believe it's going to happen regardless. The other massive, intensively irrigated region in the United States is Central Valley, California. But they're having certain environmental issues out there that just do not affect our region. And because of escalating land prices and overdrafts of water, that region is having difficulties. Some of that ag production is actually starting to move to Missouri. We now grow peanuts, 25,000 acres. We grow sweet potatoes, we grow chipping potatoes, we grow purple hull peas. All of these are destined for markets all around the United States.
And rice production also is something that's seen an increase here in Missouri, well, specifically in the Boot Heel.
We grow approximately 200,000 acres of rice. We grow down in Arkansas 1 million acres of rice. It continues down into Louisiana and Texas and Mississippi. We are one of the leading rice exporters in the world. And because of our exports, we're feeding Guatemala, Haiti, other countries in Latin America. We're starting to branch out. We're actually sending rice to China. The idea is that we grow high quality rice, and it is destined for countries that need a cheap, abundant food source for their emerging populations. And Southeast agriculture is supplying that need.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the research that's going on at the Gordonville Farm at Southeast Missouri State University. In particular, this new irrigation system this experimental irrigation system that you're working on. It's underground irrigation. Why is that? I mean, how does that work? And why could this really kind of be a game changer for agriculture?
4 years ago, we put in what they would call a controlled subsurface drainage and irrigation system. We removed the water during surplus water times, like last weekend. And then during the summer, like our drought we had last year, we were irrigating with that same system. The advantage of it is that I can irrigate at a rate of 2 gallons per acre per minute. I'm not irrigating the top, I'm irrigating just below the roots. I'm not irrigating the weeds, so I have less reliance on herbicides. But we harvested corn at 196 bushels per acre last year. That's near a county record. The idea is that it is a new emerging technology that limits the use of water, and it turns productive fields into highly productive fields.
You're talking about also less nutrient runoff as well.
One of the caveats of the system is that by not irrigating on the surface but irrigating below, I do not have water running across the surface into surface creeks. Therefore, we're limiting the amount of nitrate, nitrogen, and phosphorus that's moving into Williams Creek. We want to protect that entire watershed. In fact, we want to protect the whole Mississippi watershed.
We've been talking with Dr. Michael Aide. He's the chair of Southeast Missouri State University's Agriculture Department. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you, sir.